Hey, Marlia.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Not bad.
Good.
Not bad. It's a gorgeous day in the sunshine, and
Gotta love it.
I'll
Middle
tell
of
you what,
July.
if we get a little rain, I'd be a little happier, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Yep,
Good to see
we
you
need
again.
that.
And
Yes.
welcome everybody who's joining us today. We're going to have another travel talk, and today we are talking about the Nova Scotia and Canada's Maritimes trip. This one, again, I think I say it every time we talk, Marlia, but I'm like, this one's a good one. I mean, they all are.
It's fun.
They
It's
are.
fun. You know, it's those BLTs, those bucket list trips that we're just knocking off.
You bet.
You know?
You bet. This one's on September 14th through the 23rd of 2023. I know you told me that there is an overnight included there. So
right.
You want to go ahead and
pre-night, we are talking Canada's Maritimes. This is one that a lot of you have asked for. You've done the western part of Canada. In this year, we are doing the Canadian Rockies. So we are doing that region with Alberta and all those neat parks. 4 years ago, we did Montreal and Quebec City. So we've done that area. Now we are going to take you to the Eastern Maritime provinces. So sooner or later, we're going to get all the way through Canada for everybody. And we are expecting, again, this is 2023, 14 months away. This is July. However, it is out there and it is free air for a limited time. Now, in this day and age, with those prices going like this, we are offering free air on this trip for a limited time. If it's anything like our Canadian Rockies, this has been out for a couple weeks yet. At least it's been noted and people have noticed it in the office. It is already selling. If it's anything like Canadian Rockies, we're expecting it to sell out very quickly because it's an area that's going to be beautiful.
I need like the lights. I need a lights and sirens button somewhere. Like, hey, now's the time.
Yeah, free. I'm going to give you a little history on Canada just to start out with, because we kind of always do it. Again, one of my maps, I don't know if you can see it. The area here, I'm going to go this way first. This is Vancouver. Anybody that's done Alaska cruises usually goes in and out of Vancouver, does British Columbia. Your next, here I backwards again. I'm left-handed. I still can't do this. Next over is Alberta. Now that is Canadian Rockies. That's where we're going this year in July. That's Calgary, Edmonton. Middle coming through next to Alberta is Saskatchewan. You think of Regina because that's the capital of Saskatchewan. You think of wheat country in Saskatchewan. That's where a lot of farming and wheat is in the lower part. Then Manitoba, straight north out of Minnesota, which a lot of people go to Canada fishing, and they go into Canada, into Winnipeg, or Churchill for the polar bears way north. Then Ontario, which was our Montreal, and Quebec City, which is the orange. And over here where we're going to be, this little bitty maritime area, this way. No, other way, this way, right there. This little other area, which consists of actually 4 provinces, which is Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, PEI, which is Prince Edward Island. Let me see. New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. I'll think of it. And Cape Breton. So 4 of those provinces. Canada has 10 provinces and 3 territories. North of those provinces, of course, is the Yukon, Northwest Territory, and New Brunswick, which is way up on the Arctic Circle. 10 of those. And New Brunswick was just separated. It was the newest product. It's separated from the Northwest Territories in 1998, 1999 with it. So there's your Canadian provinces running all the way along the continental U.S. But we are going to be concentrating Nova Scotia, Maritimes, and what they call the Atlantic Maritime provinces. Think lobster, think Titanic, think Anne of Green Gables, think island and beautiful scenic drives. That's going to be our maritime provinces. We're overnighting September 14th, where we'll meet all the group in Des Moines and get to know each other. Then we'll fly and arrive into Halifax, Nova Scotia on the 15th that day. On the 16th, we're going to tour Halifax, which is the capital city. We're going to have a local history there. We'll learn the history of that. They've had a big explosion up there years ago, and also about they are very connected to the Titanic disaster. So you'll hear why they're connected with the Titanic in Halifax. Then we'll go to Lunenburg, which is a port town. It's on the National Historic Sites. Again, we're picking up those Canadian National Historic Sites. It has a beautiful waterfront. You see a lot of pictures when you see of Halifax with the harbor, and Lunenburg, you hear it's the harbor area. Then on, we'll stop at Peggy's Cove. When you see a picture up there with the cottages or the fishing village in the country, that's Peggy's Cove always. It's got the granite weathered rocks and the lighthouse at Peggy's Cove. That's Peggy's Cove. Coming back into Halifax, we're going to visit the Citadel, which is their historic fort that has been restored, and it again is a national landmark. So it's going to be a busy day on the 16th. A lot of sites in and around Halifax. On the 17th, we depart for Cape Breton Island. It was settled by the Loyalists of New York State originally, and and that was followed by the Scottish immigrants. So it has a real Celtic Scottish atmosphere over there. They went there because it was a lot like the homeland in Scotland. Going to see a lot of similarities with it. That is also the and Alexander Graham Bell Historic Site and Museum. So we'll see some of his adventure. Believe it or not, you don't think of Alexander Graham Bell being in Cape Breton, Canada, but that's the historic site there in Betticook, Nova Scotia. It's on Brosdior Lake, and it'll be a neat stop to see this historic site and visit his National Museum. The 18th, we're going to follow the Cabot Trail. A lot of people have heard of the Cabot Trail and seen even movies that have been done along there. Scenery is the highlight. That's our day. If you've been to New England and seen the scenery in New England, it's going to be a little more rugged. It is going to be gorgeous scenery as we travel on the Cabot Trail through the Highlands National Park, and we'll spend the day in the park. We're going to have a picnic lunch there in the park and just enjoy the scenic overlooks and the crannies of that whole landscape all day long. A good relaxing day to spend with the scenic overlooks on it. 18th is our first ferry ride. We're going to take the ferry to Prince Edward Island, PEI, as you see it noted. We're going to stay 2 nights on Prince Edward Island, which will be nice. We're going to have ample time to explore that real quaint area of Eastern Canada. We're going to have a lobster dinner one of those nights with all the fixings, so you can learn how to crack your lobster and pull out the right parts and some of the green parts you don't want to eat. But it'll be fun to have a traditional lobster dinner that night with it. On our day 7, which is Wednesday, September 20th, we're going to be exploring the island. We'll have a tour of Charlottetown. That was settled by, the French and the Spanish or Scottish, Irish, and English. So that is our town of the House of Anne of Green Gables, the books of Anne of Green Gables. Did you ever read Anne of Green Gables, the series?
I would say it's been a while.
Probably. That's one of those classics that most people at least read one of them, if not all of them. But for those not familiar with Anne of Green Gables, it's a 1908 novel. It was by a Canadian author. Montgomery was the last name of the author, published under L.M. Montgomery, because, of course, those were the days when a woman did not write a book or get published. It's considered a children's classic since the mid-20th century. It's set in the late 19th century, and it's the adventures of an 11-year-old girl, Anne, A-N-N-E, who's an orphan, and she's sent by mistake to older adoptive parents who were expecting a boy. And it's all of the adventures of Anne in the fictional town of Avonlea, which is now Charlottetown. But on Prince Edward Island, and it follows her adventures. There are, I believe, 6 books in the whole series by the time you get done, and it goes into Anne's life, and then there's a few more that go on even into her children afterwards. But it's just a quaint late 19th century, one of those good reads that you don't have to worry about who's going to read it or what's going to be in it. It's just a classic book. But we are going to visit the Anne of Green Gables house. We're going to be able to explore and walk along there. We're going to walk along the beaches in Charlottetown. Then that evening, we will have a musical performance in the Confederation Center for the Arts. So we'll be going to a musical performance there. On the 21st, which is the next Thursday, we're going to depart PEI across a 9-mile-long bridge over to Chatelet, which is New Brunswick. So quite a long, think Florida Keys. It's one of those long bridge rides over there. We're going, and Chatelet is called the lobster capital of the world. There you go. Need a t-shirt, put a lobster on it. Got the lobster capital of the world at Chatelet. We're going to have a narrated cruise out on the waters there around in the bay. We'll have lobster again for lunch on our cruise. Then we'll stop at Hopewell Rocks. If you see pictures of New Brunswick and things, many times you're going to see a rock formation that's kind of standing up in the area. They're known, it's very well known in the area, and that's Hopewell Rocks that we will stop and see. So you can say, okay, wait a minute, that picture, I was there, been there, done that. I don't know if you can buy a t-shirt, but we'll get it done. On Saturday, or I'm sorry, on Friday, which is the 22nd, our last day of big traveling, we'll do the Bay of Fundy ferry, which is going to be basically mainland back over to Nova Scotia. Beautiful views. We're going to take the Fundy Rose across. It's a ferry. It takes us back to Nova Scotia. We'll stop at the Grand Prix National Historic Site. Now, no, it's not a car race. Okay, stop that. We're going to that's the first thing I thought. Grand Prix National Historic Site. What in the dickens? It is a 17th and 18th century Acadian village. So there's an interpretive center there, beautiful gardens, but it's their old time historical village from the area, from when that area was settled. That night, we'll have a farewell dinner so we can visit with everybody that's with us on the tour. And on our way home from Halifax that next morning, back into Des Moines. So it's going to be a fun-filled 10 days, busy 10 days, but we're going to see a lot of Eastern Canada and marking one of those bucket list things off for Eastern Canada and one more province, because I think most of our travelers by that time, we've gotten them to almost every place in Canada.
Sure.
Yeah, so
what a cool trip.
Yeah, we're going good. It's New England in the U.S., but more rustic and more islandish, because we're going to be doing several islands. So it's more rustic, but it's a lot like New England with the quaint villages and learning the history.
Do you have any pricing available yet on this one, Maria?
I do, I believe. Let me see. Per person, double occupancy is $38.84 per person. That includes your air right out of your Des Moines and your pre-night in Des Moines. You can add $1,089 onto that for single occupancy with it. Again,
and we've got free air right now.
Free air for a limited time on this. So it is. Yes. This is the time. I know it's 23. Get out. We've talked about my 10-year planner before. We've got more things coming way through 23 and 24. So get out those planners. We want to get them far enough out so people can budget for that. We realize everybody's on a budget. And this way we can get the budgeting going. You can get your deposit in, know where your monies are going to go. Again, it's passport required, vaccinations required. And Canada has now, as of the 14th of July, gone back to sporadic testing of those entering the country, which is no big deal. It is what it is.
It's to be expected, right?
It's to be expected. Honestly. It's a brave new world, and it's to be expected. And it is what it is, which is my new saying. And it's just one of those things we do, but both are required, with it. And then there's, and Canada has a little form. It's called Arrive Can, ARRIVECAN, which is an app that you put on your phone. It's very slick. And with it, you are going to be way before you leave. You're going to log in your passport information and your COVID information. You're going to take a picture of your COVID vaccination card. So the government is going to have it. It's in the app. They're going to have it. And then just 72 hours before you leave, all you do is add your flight information and where you're staying. It's slick. Many European countries are starting it too. We did in Poland a year ago, we did a much more complicated one than what the Canadian one is. But it's called Arrive Can. And the nice thing about it is then that anybody going into Canada at a later trip, for instance, our Canadian Rockies people that are going with us to Canadian Rockies, those that have already signed up for Nova Scotia, all they have to do is go in, their passport and their vaccination information is there. All they have to go in is add new travel information in the part 2 of the app, and they're done. If you're going to go fishing, your information's there. You just add where you're going to be fishing. You're done. So it's a slick little app, and one that anybody traveling into Canada is going to have pretty easy. Not a big deal. Not a big deal.
Sure.
So just part of the new requirements that we're finding with every country. And again, those requirements change on a daily basis. So what could be required right now, because it's after July 14th, a couple days, in 6 months, in a year, it may not be required. We don't know.
Yeah.
But we're prepared for it. That's the big thing. We're on top of it. And, Rhonda knows A, B, and C on what we're supposed to be doing here. And we've got it. Again, the tour is going to be very casual. An extra jacket, umbrella if you need it, just in case. But otherwise, it's blue jeans and capris and shorts probably if it's still warm in September. And it's going to be very casual, laid back, relaxing, see those maritime provinces for us.
Sounds like a dream.
And it's going to be fun.
Look below there. You've got your 800 number. You can reach out to Rhonda at the office. You can get some more information about this tour, which hopefully you are interested in. I believe the PDF is up on the website right now at northlandtravel.com. As soon as we get this video downloaded, we'll be sure to get this up on the website as well too, so you can go back and double check some of the things you heard. We would love to get more information into your hands any way you so choose. So be sure to reach out, and we'd be happy
it's on
to
my
help.
Facebook page also.
You bet.
And I think it's on the Northland Facebook page.
Yes,
I think
absolutely.
We did it on the Northland Facebook page also. Yeah. The flyer is. So we should be good.
Thank you, Marlia. Again, appreciate all your info.
It's been fun.
And thank you all for joining us. We sure appreciate it. And
come join us again in Canada for the 2nd year in a row.
You bet. All right. Thanks all. Have a great day.